So now if you see what system.out.println is doing, it is just printing a line onto the output console. It is also pronounced as println, sometimes called as a println statement as well. So you can just do two ways to use this, right? It prints the message. If you want to print a blank line, then you just do not put anything and it will show you a blank line. So let's just try to do this. All right, so let's go ahead and try to use this program, right? So just go over here and let's try to put some more space over here. So what you can do is just go in here, and as you notice, I just want to put some space over here. That means this is going to print a blank line, right? You can also see the output difference over here, here, and here, and just run this program. As you can see it, this is the first line, then you have a blank line because of this statement, and then you have this line, then again you have a blank row because of this statement, then you have this blank line, Dunwoody, Georgia, then you have a blank line, and then you have this particular output. Okay, now let's go to the next topic. So there is one more thing that I would like to show you, that is the tab character as well as a new line character. But before that, let's just go over here. How do you must give a proper name for your Java class? You need to provide a proper name, right? For your class. Make sure you capitalize each word, like my class name. Your program file must match this Java class. So now let's just see this as well, right? So what we have to do is, for example, this is e-learning Java course first program. So that means when I type this, if somebody reads this statement, then they will understand what this class is doing just by looking at the class name. This class name says e-learning Java course first program, right? So that means you can tell. And now whenever you store this particular output file, you need to store it as this, whatever is the class name .java. Then only your program can identify this class name should match with your Java file name. It doesn't matter here because you are using the online compiler, but when you download the Eclipse, then it will make more sense. Okay. Now let's just go about this one. Identifier, right? So if you have to use variable names, this is a class name or a variable name, you can use this, you can use this, you can use this, you can use this, but you cannot use this 49 years side dash swipe PhDs. So let's try to do something crazy now with this program. Okay, e-learning dash this dash this dash this, or this is a junk class name that I'm giving it to my program. Let's just compile and execute. There you go, and you can see the type of error that it has produced now, right? It is illegal to use all these characters that you see over here. So now if I do this only, like e-learning first Java program, it will work. There you go, and the output is generated. Also, you cannot use some of the system defined keywords over here as a class name. For example, println is a Java's class name, or this is a Java's method. You cannot use it like this. It will throw you the error. You cannot put this as a class name. You cannot create a class name even with main, because that is a main function. That will also not allowed, right? So if you type this, it's gonna break as well. Just run this. It is going to give you the error, unable to compile your file, right? So you cannot use, these are all the illegal characters, and you are not allowed to use all these things. Okay. Now, these are all the keywords that are identified. You cannot use all this keyword for your class name or for your method names, right? These are identified as a system defined keyword like abstract, boolean, break, byte, case, catch. All these things are a system defined, and you are not allowed to use all these characters. So just review it for a quick second, and then we can jump on to the next thing. Yeah. Now let's just move to the next thing. Syntax. This is also very important. Every Java statement should end with the semicolon. That is one of the most important rules that you have. Each and every Java program should end with semicolon. The content of a class or a method should be in between open and close parentheses only. Syntax error. If you get a missing semicolon, if you have too many brackets or too few brackets, illegal identifier for class name, and class and file names do not match. So let's just try out to produce each error. So open up your program. Now, if you notice, if this statement should end with semicolon, I did not do it by mistake. Just compile and execute, and you should see the error. Okay, that this syntax is incorrect because you do not have this. Okay, just try to run it now. It should still throw you an error, right? Syntax error on line number 14. So just enter this and it will definitely go away, right? So it did go away. Now let's try to do one more thing. The second is, if you have too many parentheses like this, okay? Now you need to have just parentheses open and close for each class as well as method. Now here you just need total 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. But these are all extras. When you compile and execute it, it's gonna throw you the error. So you cannot have now illegal identifier. If you put a space here, right, first Java program, that's also illegal, right? You cannot have a space in your class name. Just compile and execute, this should break too. So there you go, right? If you can put underscore, it will work, right? But it will not work with the spaces. There you go. It has successfully compiled and produced with underscore. If you put this, there you go, the error. So this is not valid, but underscore is a valid thing. If you put underscore and then if you put something like a dollar sign or escalation, some special characters, and try this. There you go. So you are not allowed to use any special characters in the public in the class name. This is what we call it as a class name. So you are not allowed to use that. Okay. Now let's say these are the system defined keywords. If I have showed you, right? So let's see if we keep our class name as abstract. Okay, let's see that. And this is the abstract as well. Let's see if it runs or not. There you go, it failed. Main, not working. Now if I change this, e-learning Java program. Now just compile and execute. There you go. So it has successfully compiled and executed. Now if you see one more thing, if you have a static, that is also a system defined keyword. So if you go in here and just type a static here one more time, it will still break. There you go. So you are not allowed to use a system defined keyword in your Java program. That is also not allowed. Okay. Now let's try a couple of other things. So we already covered all this detail about the syntax error, right? Just recap this one more time. This every statement should end with semicolon. The content of a class or a method should occur between this parenthesis and this. Syntax error, a problem in the structure of a program that causes compiler to fail. Now, why it is important to enforce all the rules and regulations? Remember, your Java program is not created. I mean, humans are not going to go through the English statement and like execute it. Your CPU will perform the execution. So that's why when you convert this English language into bytecode, if there are some issues, then you have to identify first. Otherwise, your bytecode will not be able to execute by your CPU. So that is why it is very important to follow all the rules regard syntax rules when you write a program so that your machine can convert your program into a proper bytecode and perform and execute your program. Okay. Let's try one more thing. Strings. Whenever we see a string, right, if you see the strings here, it always needs the quotations like this, double quotes. If you see the number, you can print it directly over here. Let's say if you want to print two numbers. If you notice when I wrote a plus, it directly performed the addition between this and it gave you the output, right? So this is with the plus sign, it did it for you. Now, if you just type this, if you want to print two things like strings as well as this particular thing like numbers plus string, there you go. So you just use a plus sign, and now let's rewrite the address directly in just a single line. So how would I do it? 1 2 3 4 plus this is just a single line I am writing this. So just click compile. There you go. If you leave a spaces here, you can also see it properly then. Just compile and execute. There you go. So just one line also, you can use a plus sign to combine the numbers and a string, but make sure whenever you combine a number, it doesn't have the double quotes, but when you put the strings, it will have a double quotes into it. So just review it once again. You can also practice the same program while watching this video, right? That's also a great sign. That's the way you will learn this thing. Okay. Now let's talk about the escape sequence. When you say a slash t, that means you are talking about a tab character. When you see a slash n, that means it's a new line character. When you see about a double quotes, it's a backslash character. When you see uh, this sign, quotation mark character, right? So you do have an option to use this if you want. You can just type slash n here or slash t. It will perform it proper way. There you go. As you can see, it dropped the tab character. If you do it over here also, it will do the same thing. Run this and see the difference. There you go. Okay. You can also do it over here. Okay. If you do slash n, that means it's a new line, right? So here you have 1, 2, 3, 4 plus slash t Azure Garden Drive. That means this is gonna be here and then the tab, right? Because you have a slash t Azure Garden Drive, then you have a slash n. That means in the new line, I want to print Dunwoody, Georgia, and some zip code. So this is about the slash t escape sequence. Okay. So T is for tab, N for new line, this for quotation mark character, backslash backslash, that means this is the backslash character. Review this example and you will also notice the difference. Go to the next one. Comments. Comments are the most important thing. A note written in a source code by a programmer to describe this or clarify the code, comments are always going to be ignored by your program. You write a single line comment using this syntax. You write a multi-line comment using this syntax. So let's write it. Let's write a multi-line comments now. Now let's say if I execute this program. Whenever you see this sign, that means let's just see if it's gonna run or not. It will fail because I forgot to close this comments, right? So let's just do that. There you go. Click compile and execute. So whatever statements you have written over here is completely ignored. Here you can even use Java's existing keyword like class, main, abstract, main, what else? There are many keywords, public. These are the keywords that you cannot use it over here, but here it should be fine. You can even use the special characters, right? Like this. You can use any special character and just run this. It will still work because whatever is inside this comment, it will be ignored by your Java program. You can write a single line comment with this. Okay, you can write the single line comment with this and multi-line comments with this. So just write it, try it out and let me know what's on. Yeah. These are just the best practices to place the comment. Whenever you write a comments, where are the places you will put the comments? At the top of each file, that means at the header. You will also put at start of every method to explain what that method is doing. You will also, comments are very helpful for understanding a large and complex code. Multiple programs working together who must understand the code. Now, for example, if you are in your team, if there are like 100 programmers are working, they are all working together. So it is a best practice for you to know what other programmers have returned, right? And the only way to do so is using this comments. So like if I take the class file from the other programmer, if he or she has returned proper comments, then I can easily see that, okay, what this program should be doing. But if I do not see that, that is, I'm going to be confused. I have to debug the program in order to understand what this program is doing. And that will take up a lot of my time. So that's why if you have a comments written to it, you can quickly understand what that program is doing. Okay, go to the next one. So let's just look at this program, right? This is the best practices. Just review it for a minute and just try to understand what is a best practice to write any program. Okay. Now let's go ahead and write a sample Java program to follow all these things, right? So let's just go in here. In the beginning, just notice this. In the beginning, you need to write this multi-line comments. So this is, so first of all, date and author name and the date. Okay, 0527. This is my first Java program and I need to understand this program simply prints Java keyword, prints hello world. It shows me how to learn and use Java. Okay, bracket ends. Now delete this one. In the beginning of this is my main method. This is my main method, and I need to learn how to print the address. I am also using the tab and new line characters in my Java program. This is a single line. I have used a single line comment, multi-line comment. With each method I have this. So this is the structure of my Java program. Just compile and execute. It will work. Okay. You can also take a look at this program and see how it's been written